Hey gang, this is Fillmore, just letting you know that if you enjoy our podcast, quite frankly, a Howard Stern podcast, and you'd like to donate some money for the upkeep, or you want to request certain clips, please donate to our Patreon page at patreon.com/JimFix. That's JIMFIXX. You can donate as much as you want for as long as you want. There's absolutely no obligation.
Artie, maybe it's to take makeup off.
You want to know something? I'm going to tell you something great about Beth.
Yeah.
She never moves her bowels.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Maybe once a month.
I've never seen. I've been.
Honest to God.
I've been away with Dana,
like, to the point that I'm afraid for her health.
We've
getting excellent reports on you.
Do you ever shut up, or does Mr. X just have to punch her in the face?
Now you're going to bring me.
So I'm going
to
ask the producer of the, Robin, when you get an opinion on your own, I'll talk to you.
Are you?
I've put out hit albums. I had the fastest selling album in history. What, are you going to be upset with Jason because he whacks off to your wife? I mean, that turns me on. And I got up and I pished. I don't want to be in a wig and a purse. I do that in my personal life. Yes, I'm like a woman who's been raped.
How much is Howard paying you a week? I'm paying you more, okay? Fucking, give me a fucking break.
Now look, I don't want to get into a long explanation. That's not what I came here for. My audience isn't here to laugh.
I mean, Gary's got a wife and kids. And if I leave, who the fuck is going to hire him?
Joe, hi, you're on the air.
Hey,
man.
Howard.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And nothing.
Listen, I think it's time you come out of the closet with Ralph.
Oh, please.
Because I know deep down, I mean that literally.
All right, so I'm a homosexual.
You're a sword swallower.
Right. I'm a homosexual. You're right.
Thanks, Howard.
Right. I'm going to tell you. I'm caught. Good. In fact, that's good. That would be easy. I'd love to be gay. It'd be so goddamn simple. But then when people ask me about why I'm separated from my wife, I just go, you know what? I'm gay.
I told you something. I will not say no. I told you it's a personal defect of mine.
You don't have to say no. All you have to say is, yeah, that'd be great. I could use the help with Casey. That's fine.
No, I don't want to be told how to say it. I told you my problem. I don't want to be asked. You don't know that?
Bad position.
No, you put me in a bad position. You asked me. Then I'm not a good guy. I want to be a good guy. Listen to me again. I'm going to say for the 15th billionth time since I've known you. Don't ask me if you can leave early. You know what you have to do, and you know when you have to leave. Don't ask me.
So that means when I have to work
when
late,
I say yes, you can leave, it means no.
Late, can I leave?
I have no idea what you make.
Really?
I have no idea.
I got a guy now who's finding out the real names of the occupations of what the people do who bully me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm kind of a fighter, so...
Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of, quite frankly, a Howard Stern podcast. I'm your host, Fillmore, a.k.a. Fillmore Fingers, a.k.a. Jim Fix. And with me, of course, is my wonderful co-host, Sam.
Hey, guys.
Yes, we've been waiting for this one for a while, and actually it takes place from the 20th of May. This is a breakdown. We're doing this particular episode, or two, depending how long we go. And we'll be doing May 20th and then the first week of June, because they took a week off, and after the George Floyd thing had already gone down, they came back, and they were still, wasn't much of a vacation for them because they were stuck indoors just like everybody else, but what are you going to do?
I mean, the whole world could have melted down and you wouldn't have noticed the difference in episodes, because that's how little they have to say about anything.
It was extraordinary. And actually, Sam, for the first time, edited some clips. And so she's she's moving out of Luddite land, and she's turning into a little techie herself.
Hey, bitches, I popped my cherry. I downloaded some clips.
It was surprisingly, I think, did you find it easy after a fashion?
I did. It was not bad. I panicked at first because I am such a Luddite. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to figure this out, and I'm not going to have my hand held like a pussy. So way to go, me.
You didn't need an MP3 dispenser.
One interview. I'm going to be doing more, by the way, because I enjoyed, my favorite part was coming up with titles to think. I was like, oh, the pressure cooker and hilarity that ensues when I have to read these titles. Now, you're going to see them ahead of time because you're doing the show. Yeah. So it's not going to be as good, but I still like the reverse roles.
Well, I think if anything's funny, we've done this before. If anything's funny and we've already gone through it, or we listen to it and we listen to it the second time for the purpose of the show, if we still laugh, then clearly we still found it funny. So you're not actually getting anything inorganic or inauthentic, you know. So if we laugh, we're laughing. It's not a put on, guys. So for this one, the purposes of equity.
In other words, Fillmore, in a sense, so you're laughing.
Yeah. So in this case, since Sam did her clips, she did the Seinfeld clips, I'm going to read them. And I don't think it's going to be as funny, but I promised I would. So we'll start with the first one. In other words, I'm a blathering sweetheart. That doesn't violate any edict, so we'll get with it.
23 hours out of the day, waiting to get that 1 hour on stage. The specials, listen to this. Jerry's new special is 23 hours to kill. In other words, what he's saying is, life is so bleak.
Yeah.
It is the most negative title I ever heard. He's saying, I have an hour on stage where I have my life.
Yes.
23 hours, I'm sitting there killing the hours.
What he's had comedians on, or well, pseudo comedians now, but comedians on for fucking decades, and they all talk about their shitty road life. How what do they do in their off time? They had Levy and Artie talk about going to Target, getting a shitty shirt, and Levy going on stage with the price tag still on the shirt. It says like $3.99.
Fillmore. In other words, Goodnight Moon is about saying goodnight to the moon.
Oh man,
it's just so 23 hours to kill. We really have to analyze that title. I mean,
right, 23 hours to kill. He's got 3 days to kill every week. Well, not every week.
It's just him hobbling around his house while that mass is dust mopping fur.
And stumbling into end tables and shit, yeah.
I'm counting them off till I can get on stage. This is a terrible statement, right? I mean, is that the truth?
Right? What do you mean? Wrong. What is he going to say?
Yeah.
It just sounds good.
You're completely wrong. And God bless. You're completely wrong. God rest your... Or what did they have to go more line? I fucked that up. Never mind. It's Billy Madison. Sorry.
Is it possible for Stern to overthink anything?
I mean, how direct could you get in a title? The fact that you're analyzing it, holy Christ, could you imagine him writing a paper?
You imagine an interview going up to him. So Howard Stern comes again, in a sense, implies that you are returning once more. Or that... anyway, so the next one is...
The Great Gatsby. That must have fucking threw him for a loop.
What's great about him? The next one is called Five Alarm Projection.
I mean, how did he do it?
Right.
When you're doing that special, when you're up on stage,
doesn't he sound more like Ray every fucking interview? He's getting more. When you're getting on stage, mister, let me tell you.
Let me tell you. When
There we
you're
go.
getting on stage, I know that you're thinking about other comedians. Tell me you're not. You are.
He's not just looking like Ray, or dressing like her. He's sounding like her more every day.
are you thinking about, you know what? All the other comedians are going to see this special on Netflix. I'm going to blow them out the fucking door. Who are you? Are you competitive that way? What are you thinking?
I am intensely, highly competitive with myself only. Is this my best version of this bit? Am I in my perfect flowing state of performing right now?
Thank you, Captain Kirk, for telling us about your comedy.
And he's not in competition with anyone else. So good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that was all that was necessary.
Wait, Jerry, have you ever wished? Now tell me, Jerry, have you ever wished cancer and AIDS upon the children of fellow comedians? I need to know.
Do you have people bring you junior mints to your lips so you don't have to utilize any kinetic energy. The next one is continues. Basically, by the way, the 20th was it's not particularly impressive, except for not even this interview was impressive, but we thought we would put it in because it's it was worth, some of this was worth it. So 3B, Jessica Seinfeld, Allison Stern projection.
And you're talking about it's the greatest bit. Going away on vacation. What's the point of going on vacation? You're just paying for an expensive hotel room where you can fight with your wife. and I was really cracking up. It was just great. And I'm saying to myself,
thank you for watching it.
I loved it. I saw it right away when it came out on Netflix.
Thank you.
But I was thinking of Jessica, this woman who is devoted to you. She raised your children.
Like he cares one lick about his own wife, let alone someone else's.
That's why I said Allison Stern projection. Anyone? What the fuck? She raised your children. Yeah, who else would be raising them? That's the mom, idiot.
He's amazed. You know,
the parents actually raised the children. Whoa.
What was that line about Richard Lewis said about being too much of a people pleaser, that when his mother was being buried, he went to the grave diggers. He said, "You guys are doing a fantastic job." Thank God we still got him around.
Oh, that's so good.
By some of your take on marriage. It was not the Jerry Seinfeld that I've seen in the past. This is a new Jerry Seinfeld who really was brutally honest about.
So what, was he lying now? Go ahead.
This was not the Jerry Seinfeld. This is so Ray.
You're
right. It's
because
incredible.
He's doing that lower register, like, now, Howard, I must tell you, you are not everything you believe, mister. Yeah. Just play back some old Ray clips. Just choose one. Throw a rock and hit a Ray clip, and then play this back to back. There's not really much of a difference. So they both have vaginas.
Fighting with a wife.
It's not honest. It's all lies. It's all concocted, invented. It's like the sky. What's the Foo Fighters line? The sky is my neighborhood.
Sky's the neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop it. We will make up and say or do anything if the audience likes it. That's the fun of it. No one's going to check. No one cares.
Now, that's a decent answer from a comedian who's been doing it for fucking decades. And it's such a stupid question to ask anybody of that stature. Not that I'm a huge Jerry Seinfeld fan, but why would you ask something so asinine just to even to fill time?
Again, it's like, I could understand if you asked that question to somebody who, say, is a new comic and comes out with such an audacious set that they're mocking their family or they're doing something that's maybe going to upset somebody and they're right out the gate. But asking Jerry Seinfeld, is your family mad?
Did Wiggy ever ask Allison if she minded him bitching about them making long distance calls because he needed help paying for the lights?
You know what, Howard, that's an interesting question. Was your family mad when you moved out into an apartment to make a movie about your love for her?
How did your kids feel about you telling your audience that the bulldog taught you how to love? Number 3 is called It's All About Me, Jerry.
When I was watching the special, there's a chunk of business where I felt you were attacking me. You say... I really thought this. There's 2 places that I went, oh shit, I do that with Jerry.
Yeah,
and I think it's me he's talking about. First of all, you talk about all your friends are annoying. And you say in the special, but you know what? You come to the conclusion, yes, my friends are all annoying.
I had to stop it because it's almost 30 seconds. But this is one more that when you say projection, I mean, it's the only way this fucking narcissistic asshole can make anything relate. It has to make it relate to him. Otherwise, he can't listen to it, can't watch it, can't read it. So imagine him reading a book about the female body and trying to relate to it.
He's trying so hard. It's like the first time you're in like 4th grade health class watching like that video about your period or something.
I can relate because I had a
Such
hernia.
a moron.
But go and get new friends. They're going to be eventually just as annoying.
Yes, that's right.
I feel at this point I'm a friend of yours.
Yes, you are.
And I must be one of those annoying people.
Yes, you are. You are.
Am I?
Yes. Aren't you also annoyed by me?
Yes.
You are.
Yes. I am. I truly
Now,
am.
we could switch.
Yeah.
We could switch. We could get other friends. But
Yeah. So, okay. Well, again, nothing less funny than beating down a bit and trying to, analyze it and strip it of its components and say, well, what makes this funny? But yeah,
I
he
saw
is
this
fucking
live.
annoying.
So I went to Shays in Buffalo when Jerry Seinfeld came here, and I got my parents for Christmas really great seats. So I took them to see him live for Christmas, and the show was hilarious. So when the Netflix special came out, I didn't know it was going to be all the material that he did live for the show, and live it was hysterical. My parents and I, oh my God, we laughed so hard. It was such a good night. We went to dinner before. It was great. Anyway. It's so funny live, but when you're sitting there, like you just said, and you're beating a bit that's so easily explained. Yeah, friends, you have them throughout your life, and they all have annoying tendencies, but you keep them. Wow, what a revelation!
Well, especially Jerry's jokes, which are not particularly they're not super structured, so you have to listen to it for 5 hours or 5 minutes and go, "Wow, that was deep." They're very, surface. I mean, it's the nature of his comedy. It's not complex. I'm not saying he's not good at it, or if you're a fan of it, it's not well crafted. I'm saying that it's not something that requires an interview explaining the roots of it.
Right, because his ingenuity is the fact that he takes these mundane, everyday ideas of all my friends are annoying. We had to go somewhere and it's annoying to get there, and how the process of getting somewhere. Pop-Tarts are amazing. I mean, all these little observations, that's his whole deal. The fact that if you interview him and that's what you're talking about, it's retarded.
Yeah, it's more indicative of your complete lack of anything to say.
Retarded.
It's retarded. Number 4 is called, "Hey, while I crawl into my insecure fetal position, can you pass me the hot water and lemon, Jerry?"
Maybe I'm complimenting myself, thinking you're coming up with material, and you're really not.
Maybe.
I'm not that interesting.
Maybe.
Do you see why being friendly with you could be a disaster? Because there really is this feeling that Jerry is judgmental. Jerry is Jerry gets
I'm not
aggravated.
looking for friends, Howard. I'm not.
No shit. Jerry's judgmental. What do you think? I mean, how long have you known this man, by the way? 30 years? I mean,
yeah.
This is like the first day of school.
Do you remember? I know you remember it because you brought it up the one time. Was the interview in probably 1993 when Jerry goes, "Howard, the fart man thing, don't do it." Yes,
and he was so adamant about it.
And he was so upset, and he clearly was so butthurt by that. That's the thing that he never ever lets go of. Bob D, I know we may want to pull that one just to hear that, because it's amazing the change in his tone and the way he treats Jerry after that, and Jerry just kind of brushes it off, right?
Yeah,
completely
Jerry,
unaffected.
The thing I love most about, and I suggest anyone, if they can find it on YouTube or anything, Google, I don't know, is the old clips of Seinfeld and Howard, because Howard is so unfunny and Jerry is so unfazed. So when he goes on the attack, it is the most unfunny, cringeworthy attack you've ever heard in your life. He starts doing an impression of Jerry that's awful, and he'll not stop doing it for 45 minutes on the attack, and Jerry is perfect.
Right, because the thing is, these guys they all grew up at the Comedy Store. Him, Leno, Letterman, they're all peers, and what's his name, Bill Maher. They're mostly unflappable because they've spent I don't know, thousands of hours on stage getting heckled and coming back and learning to, deal with stuff like this. So when they get a fucking 79 on the radio that they have to deal with, it's like dandruff. You just wipe it away. It's nothing to it. And the other thing is
low-hanging fruit.
And Howard, for the longest time, the one I recall mostly was the 2013 interview where Jerry finally returns, right? This is after the Marcy Turkey era has started. And he handles Wiggy like he is one of the puppets. He's so completely. And we goes like, you think I'm funny? Do you think you're funny, Howard? Do you think you're funny?
I heard that live, and I remember hearing that, and my mouth was agape because I knew, holy shit, he's literally taking him to school. He's roundhouse kicking him.
Seinfeld was
completely, and Howard kept backing himself into the corner. It's like, don't get into the corner. You're going to get knocked the fuck out, you dummy.
You want a movie analogy? Seinfeld was the dirty fucking grungy pig farmer in Deliverance, and Howard was Ned Beatty, and he was going squeal, squeal. It was that bad.
I've only seen Deliverance once. My dad made me watch it, and he said, "This is just something you have to do, everyone. You have to watch Deliverance." So I was like,
it's still disturbing.
Okay, we're watching Deliverance, and it was the most disturbing movie. I was like, oh my God, I'm glad I did that, and it's never happening again.
Right. Let's continue with the clip.
Anybody wants out? Fine. Door's open behind you.
No, but there's a paranoia because everything aggravates you. Your comedy especially is driven by aggravation.
I would say most comedy is.
It is.
So the next clip is called Dinner for Schmucks and the Seinfelds. And this is, I don't recall the context, but they went out with Jessica and Jerry at one point.
Yeah. So yes. So they went out to dinner. So,
hijinks ensue.
This is the problem with being friendly with Jerry Seinfeld. And now I realized it all when I was watching your special. I've gone to dinner with you alone, just us, or with your wife and my wife, and it's wonderful. But I realize I'm not my authentic self around you, and a lot of times, yes, because a lot of times I'm sitting there going, I think Jerry is writing material right now.
He needed material, and he called me.
There's a look he gets on his face.
Haven't we been saying for years that he must be friends with him to just fucking laugh at him behind his face and just kind of goof on him after the fact? Because Jerry's incredibly he appears arrogant, but he's incredibly confident, and he knows Howard isn't.
Jerry is probably one of the most observant comics in the game, or people in general. It's just that ability to not only be observant, but be observant in a way that's you don't know it's happening. So he doesn't make it obvious that he's observing you. So I can't imagine how he is friends with Howard for any other reason than to just observe, because it's like, it's a Ringling Brothers show of gay and closeted and projection. I mean, it's fantastic.
Imagine a clown car filled with nothing but gay clowns crashing on a loop in slow motion, and it just continues crashing. That doesn't end. That's Howard. Like he's got the wig. Clown wig too, and the big red nose.
That alone, looking at that hair alone.
Remember that picture? That one famous picture from 2006? Where Seinfeld's looking up at Beth and Howard. They're both like staring off into the distance, probably looking at some camera lens, and he's looking at them like, "Is that real? Is that real?"
That's so funny too, because Howard always idolizes the Munsters, and that is just exactly every Munster episode in one picture. Like, you come to the door and there's Herman.
You rang.
I went to dinner with you right before we all quarantined ourselves. We went to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there with you. I said, Jerry, I'm freaking out. I think there's COVID-19 here. We're going to get sick. And you were like, don't worry about it. You were a calming voice. But it was on our mind. But there were times in the conversation I see Jerry slipping off, let's say. And I go, this motherfucker is writing material, right?
No, he's just bored shitless with whatever you've got to say. I can't even imagine what they talk about.
We saw what they talk about. They tried in Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. They can't have a conversation. He can't even split a brownie. He thought that was romantic. Could you imagine? You want to split a brownie? Whoa, you trying to fuck me?
No. My favorite part of that, he goes, I love chocolate. It's a brownie. It's like, it's not chocolate.
Wow.
Chocolate is one of the ingredients. I think Benjamin said something like, that's like saying, seeing a cake and go, I love eggs. The next clip is called, Love Me Daddy, I'm a Grown Man.
Jerry Seinfeld did a very loving thing for me.
Oh, fuck.
Which
he did that in the Ablo thing. He said that word loving. He doesn't understand the difference between selfless and loving. That implies like he did something that was so wonderful for me. Not he did something great.
I haven't talked about this, but you call, and I don't think you'll care that I bring this up because it really was loving. You called me up and said, we should go to dinner together. You know, Howard, I hear you. You're trying to figure out your future, whether you should be doing this thing. And you said, let's go to dinner, the two of us. And I want to, he goes, well, let's talk about you. Because I hear on the radio you're confused.
Now, this one, I was fascinated with this.
Me.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I've never had a sentence that sounded so self-centered.
Bowie did he did, what was that one when he did the I Want You Back tape, the screening, and Gary said, well, enough about me, let's talk about me. I know what I want, you know what I want.
That's right.
And this is kind of the same thing, but I find it fascinating because if they went before the COVID, it was probably in the Hamptons somewhere, and that would have been February. I'm assuming February or even March. And so if they went out and had their broke bread, as they say, that means that there's a lot of conjecture amongst Stern ex-fans and fans alike, all saying this is the last year. Like they're not going to re-sign him again. And we believe that's the case. Any opposition to that?
No, I agree with you.
Right. So that might have been the impetus for him meeting with Jerry or whatever Jerry's saying. But he says Jerry reached out to him and said, let's go out and talk about your future, which I find it hard to believe that was the case.
So I don't know. I actually think that that's possible because Seinfeld, of course, has always been on top of his career and evolves in a way to make sure that he is. Howard is now, dragging, he's a tin can dragging from a fucking hoopty. So it's no surprise maybe that Jerry's like, listen, hang it up. That's and not so many words, but maybe he was trying to, maybe some people were like, listen, he respects you. He'll listen to you. Try to get him to come to his own conclusion that it's better to give it up now. Like when you have kids, you want them to think of it for themselves. You can push them in that direction, but if they come to that conclusion, they're more likely to do it.
And maybe to retain it as well, whatever the lesson is.
Correct.
We were talking about that with Bob. He's saying how with narcissistic personality disorders, you have to make them think it's their idea, which they're going to do anyway. And so you have to sort of coax them or trick them into, like we said, putting the pill in the wiener for the dog. And I could see Jerry telling him what for, but also Wiggy going, well, after the fact, going home and saying, well, fuck him. What does he know? But on the other hand, his dad idolizes Jerry so much. and would trade Jerry for Howard in a fucking New York second.
That's
as
such
a
a great
son.
point. I forgot about that. I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
forget about it, but I didn't think about it when I was pulling these clips.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. For years, he was quoting Seinfeld to Howard, and Howard wasn't even able to get Jerry back on because he talked so much shit about him all those years. And he wouldn't come back. Even to Sirius, he didn't come back until well into Sirius. And he was not on the show, didn't call in, and he still talked shit about him. I'm sure he was just fucking jelly completely.
Could you imagine if you're, say, Ben, I can imagine how my father, I don't know, like idealized Muhammad Ali or something. And
Sure.
say I have a radio show or I'm super famous and I could have him on, but I don't. And I don't let my father make that connection that would mean the world to him. I would purposefully just shit all over Muhammad Ali just because my dad likes him. That's crazy.
And that might have been, I think that was a huge part of it. It was all like, fuck you for being loved by Ben Stern. Jerry, how dare you do something to touch my father? He can't remember Tissue Time with Heidi Cortez, but he can recite every episode of Seinfeld. So I think it might be galling, but it's something you'd have to accept. I mean, if you are any kind of rational, normal human being. Anyway, so he is claiming that Jerry made this big overture, like, let's talk about your future.
Do you want to continue doing radio? Do you not want to continue doing radio? And you said to me, I would like to sit and listen to you. Now, I have never gotten a call like this from anyone in or out of show business or any.
Wow.
Yeah, no one cares about my future. I got a couple tens of millions.
I got 500 million to make everyone else work. Wow.
That's right. Number 7, overwhelmed by human emotion.
We're not going to bullshit about anything but this issue. We're going to sit down and discuss
There's one
this
thing
issue.
on the table. Yeah.
One thing on the table. It's better than a shrink because I
There's one thing on the table: almonds.
have a better perspective on you because my life is similar. We're at similar points in our lives. We've done what we wanted to do. We're at a point of, okay, I could say I did it. Do I keep going?
Okay, now here's where Jerry's wrong. He did it. He did what he wanted to do, which for most comedians of that generation was get the sitcom, make your syndication money, make shitloads of money, and then be able to do stand-up and make all kinds of money for stand-up for stupid amounts of money and have people kiss your ass.
Whatever, and be able to produce whatever kind of show you want to make.
Absolutely. Wiggy has never been doing what he wants, which is really to get all kinds of money to do way less work. He'd love to have been a fucking film star. He would love that. He would have dropped radio, TV, everything to have been a movie star that got paid like $20 million. But that was not going to happen.
See, I don't think he actually knows what he wants. I think he just wants boatloads of money to do nothing.
Yeah, I mean, what job would entail that? I mean, really, if he was smart, he would have just invested in he had some company, like became a CEO of several companies or bought in and just bought stock and let the stock make his money for him.
I mean, who wants to be, I've never seen somebody who wants to be the center of attention so much, but then is so critical and scared and insecure to be the center of attention. It really is
fascinating.
It's an awful person.
Yeah.
So I thought that was so much fun, Howard.
Well,
I've never done that with anyone else.
Did you help him make a decision?
I'm getting it.
Yes, we did. We did. Go ahead.
I said to my wife when Jerry called, all bullshit aside, show business, this, that, the other thing, I don't think I've ever gotten a call like this where someone would take an interest in me.
except when
me.
Buchwald's check didn't clear, so that's when he got a call. I mean, come on. What kind of bullshit is that? I never got a call from whoever.
I
don't buy it. Don't buy it for a minute.
That's why I said overwhelmed by human emotion. Like, that's something I should be talking about the situation like this. Isn't that what a human does?
And he's actually full of shit because Letterman years and years ago, decades ago, called him personally when he was not for work purposes and said we should, hang out more. And he goofed on him. He said, why would I do that? Like, why would I hang out with Letterman? Why would I, he's miserable. Why would I want to do that? And thing was after.
Oh, because Wiggy's such a ray of sunshine.
Exactly.
In this way. And I also respect Jerry because of everything he's done. And I'm overwhelmed. I was actually overwhelmed with emotion.
That's nice.
I'm just overwhelmed with human emotion.
Do you want to know how funny it is that Jerry just goes, yeah, that's nice.
Clip number 8 is called Uncomfortable Tzvi Receives Advice from Father Tutor number 600, Jerry Seinfeld. We changed that at the last minute. What was it before? Father Surrogate?
So I said, I titled it Uncomfortable Spee Receives Advice from Surrogate Father number 600, Jerry Seinfeld. And when you were putting these up, you said Father Tutor, and I fucking almost pissed myself laughing. It was so funny. Father Tutor.
I might have to make a Photoshop of a classifieds paper, like a classified section of a paper, where it just has Howard circling all these tutors with the pen, like chess tutor, photography tutor, human impersonator tutor, radio host. Sorry, guys.
He was surprised Jessica Seinfeld raised her kids.
Oh, that is comedy.
There, I even got uncomfortable because I kept trying to switch it back to you. Say, Jerry, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna?
Which is what he always fucking does. He cannot take the need. He cannot be. How obnoxious would that be to be at dinner with someone who cannot talk about themselves?
Do you think he wore a diaper at dinner?
Do you think he was in a high chair? Oh my God!
He talked about me too. We did. We shared it. Yeah.
But you looked at me and kept saying, "Let's stick to the topic. Let's stick to you. What are you gonna do with your career?" Mm-hmm. And you didn't have any prejudgment. You didn't say, "This is what I think you should be doing." You listened to me, which is like a psychiatrist.
So it's not a friend; it's a psychiatrist.
Oh my God!
That was the only way. That was the only way he could make sense of it, but to say that was like a psychiatrist. Could you? What person have you ever met would say something like that?
I mean, he needs a friend. Friends. He needs a friend tutor. It's insane.
This is not going to go away, guys. The tutor thing is not going to go away.
Yeah. Now, the fact that I know you're a busy guy and you could be doing 20 million other things. The fact that you did that, it still moves me when I think about it.
Yes, Sam, go ahead.
Could you imagine being moved by the fact your friend wants to go to dinner? Hey, you want to get a burger? Oh my God, I'm so moved.
For real? Imagine getting dressed for a burger to go to McDonald's with somebody, because they just like, oh my God, do I get pre-distressed boots, pair number 17 or pair number 12? Which one do I wear?
Ralph had to get him dressed for
that. He fretted. And Ronnie was behind the wheel of Air. He was behind the wheel of Air Force One.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Just, the thought of all.
What's that?
The thought of what must have went on just to
preparation.
Get there.
Oh Jesus, yeah, and the armed guards escorting him inside the restaurant, like with AK-47s and HKs. Like
he's like jealous of Donald Trump's bunker.
Snipers on the roof.
Good call, by the way. We were at my wife's birthday party.
That's right.
And that's what I said. Let's get together and just have a dinner about this, nothing else.
And I think I feel so badly about myself. I said, "Oh, he must be kidding. He's not really interested in me."
He doesn't want to.
Now, is he fishing for compliments, or is he self-aware enough to know that he's an annoying piece of shit?
Oh, he's just like Beth, where she's like, "Oh, oh, here's a picture of me with a cat, but oh, look at my crow's feet. Or, you know, it's like, what?
Yeah. And she does that later. We'll play a clip of her fishing for more fucking compliments.
They both do this. It's like, what do you want? Just tell me what you want me to say, please. Because clearly it's so obvious. You might as well have a fishing reel hanging off a fucking yacht right now.
Why not?
Listen to me.
Right. No, I really do feel that way about myself. So when you actually made it happen, I was like, this is very unusual in my life. And I was appreciative. Yeah, I was very appreciative.
Nice.
But here's the kicker to this story. So you and I have this long conversation, and we agree what I should do. And I said, thank you for that. And we talked a little about you. And you said, you know what, Howard? Here's what I'm going to do.
Like how insecure do you have to be after this many millions? What do you give a fuck what Jerry has to say and what he wants, what advice he has? If you're so hot shit, what are you listening to him for?
Listen to what we're hearing, Fillmore. This is like when you're taking a foreign language and you're like, this is what you say, then this is what they might say, and then this is what you say.
Yeah, right.
It's like, what?
Conjugate.
And you said, this is what I might do. This is what you might do. It's so stupid. Like, yeah, this is called a conversation, Svi.
You see Seinfeld on the other end just kind of filing his nails, going like, yeah, right, nice.
And
you got it.
He is so impressed with the fact that there was a conversation had. That's what he was overwhelmed by. He's overwhelmed by, bonjour, ça va? Oui, ça va. I mean, like...
You know who Howard is? He's Carrie. He can't believe he's the prom queen for a night.
Oh.
And then covered in blood.
And I went off, and I called my agent. And I told him what I wanted to do. And then I ran into you a couple of months later. And I said, Jerry, I want you to know I'm doing what we decided to do. And he goes, oh, yeah, and I'm doing the complete opposite of what we decided to do. It was like you smacked me in the head. What happened?
It sounds to me like the only thing I can think of is the book deal. Like,
or why, if you're almost 70 and you need a surrogate father tutor to tell you what to do, and then you're upset that they're going in a different path with their own life, you're that insecure.
Yeah.
I mean, how pathetic.
You didn't hold my hand when I jumped into the water with my water wings on. That's essentially what we're hearing here. Like, what do you mean you left me at the beach? you went to build a sandcastle. You didn't go swimming with me. You fucking asshole. So the next one is called Boring Meryl to Death with Your Movie. He met Meryl Streep.
Yeah. I met Meryl Streep, and I had this anecdote about when I was making my movie, how I watched her video, and it helped me. I walk up to her, and I go, I love you, and then I started telling her the story. Halfway through the story, I see the eyes glazing over.
This was preceded by Seinfeld saying he met her and said, I love you, and she said, I love you, and then that was it. They left it at that. Wiggy can never leave something like that alone. Remember the Don Rickles thing where he fucked up the storytelling Don, and Don, a 90-year-old, corrected him?
Yes, and this just dawned on me. He's lying. This story about the tape was in the Charlie Rose thing we listened to, and it was not Meryl Streep. It was
Michael Caine.
It was Michael Caine. So he's lying.
Well, he might have watched a Meryl Streep. Maybe there was a Meryl Streep, but you're right. He doesn't mention it ever before. I don't remember this bullshit. It was Michael Caine. It wasn't Meryl Streep.
How many actors and actresses do you think he went up to just to say, hey, when I made my movie, I watched you in a film?
Yeah.
Giving acting lessons.
Yeah.
I know I'm trapped. The story isn't all that interesting. She's probably heard it 50 billion fucking times. And now I made the mistake. You did it right. I love you. And in fact, in the Michael Jordan.
Okay, so that was a cutoff, but that was the main point there. Not knowing he did meet her, but it wasn't. The circumstances were not about he studied her acting tape or some bullshit.
But you're right. The I love you was the point, and the point was the simplistic, and just kind of amazing thing where you just know someone without knowing them and say, I love you and I love you. And that's it. That simple exchange.
Right.
Is
doesn't have to be
pure.
Deep.
It's just pure. And he's taking that and saying this. What
Do you know what?
retard.
Do you know why? It's because he has to get something from it's obviously because he has to get something from them deeper than I love your show or whatever. Or he met her and she said nothing. Maybe she fucking hated his guts and he was desperately craving for some kind of approval from her. Didn't get it because she was just being polite and she wanted nothing to do with him. And maybe that dawned on him, but he's not admitting it here. But I can't see Meryl Streep.
He was rambling, he said, and her eyes were glazed. So could you imagine boring Meryl Streep? Wow.
He's not exactly Mark Twain with his storytelling skills, let's be honest. So the last clip, I told you not to be stupid, you moron, no loitering in comedy, which is just something that Jerry says.
Netflix. My comedy motto is no loitering.
Right.
No loitering. Get to work.
By the way, I do have to remind you, when the pandemic is over, there's a restaurant that you are going to love, and you're going to go there.
Now, the no loitering in comedy, I know you wanted that because it was just very like almost a throwaway line, but he's really wanting it to.
That.
Yeah,
I stuck with that because I thought that's such the antithesis of what Howard does. I said that Howard's motto is "Park here forever," so that's what I think. So
double park here forever.
So I feel like Jerry does all these hints, especially probably at dinner, and even saying that no loitering in comedy. If you're too dim to not take away the fact that you should get the fuck off the radio, I don't know what else you need. Do you need a billboard in front of your house that says retire, you old fucking queen?
Well, this is why I don't believe he'll ever retire. That's the problem. Like, look at Larry King. Larry King got on not Hulu. What's the other one? Aura TV. They
I don't even know what that is.
Show.
What?
It's Aura TV. It's Larry King does regular interviews now. He's still working.
He's alive?
Yeah, fuck yeah, and he's still doing great interviews. Believe it or not.
Shit, I didn't even know.
His only problem is, I think, short-term memory. But his long-term memory is fantastic, and he's excellent. He's still got interviews. He did one with Norm when he was promoting his book. He did one with Dice, which was really good. And it's excellent. You can see clips on YouTube, all kinds of them.
Wow.
Yeah. Carlos Slim, the guy that put the channel together, decided you're too young to retire. And he's like 70, 80 years old. He says, "What are you going to do when you're retired?" And Larry just wants to keep working. I don't blame him. He's also got a couple fucking $100 alimonies to pay for, so maybe that's why. Can we take a quick break here?
Keep marrying those bims. The beefuses will take you down.
Now, everybody, we are into June 1st, so we're going to try to move along. And Sam, would you read the first one, please?
Human Impersonator Incorporated.
Okay.
What is that called? Marfinism? Marfa?
I thought it was. I don't know. I haven't researched that one.
One of the guys, I think Gary, got a call from Marfan Mike's dad like months ago saying he was checking off the planet. Weren't we even saying goodbye to him?
Now this is the 25th of May is when George Floyd was killed. And this is June 1st. So how many? 6 days, 30 days, has September, April, June, and November. Okay, so 6 days later.
All the rest have 31. Except for February. That's a special one.
I have to do that every time for certain months. Call me stupid. Call me stupid.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, and the maybe the key to remember is to have a birthday in every month. I think it was 6 days and not a mention of George Floyd. And I think people were asking, do you think he's going to mention it? Do you think he's going to mention it? And we're like, no, not a chance.
And this is, by the way, after the fact, Robin had a blind rage Twitter. I mean, she all of a sudden woke up out of, whatever coma she's in and just decided to start tweeting. So this is previously before the show started, too.
Well, actually, no, that's on the 2nd. So on the 1st, the day of the 1st is when she starts tweeting, but not until well after they've been recording. And I think she was pissed off that he didn't bring it up.
I agree with you. So can I read some of these tweets Robin sent just for the hell of it?
Right now, or when? Because Jason's going to do some of them, but go ahead.
Okay.
There's not too many, but there's a flurry of them on the day of the 1st. But after the show.
Don't fall into Trump traps. They are really obvious and easy to see. Keep the protests civil and disband before dark. Let him secure his base on his own. Next one. Real political protesters don't be shields for looters and disruptors. They are not your friends. They neither care about you or the Floyd family. Next one. Don't let America forget George Floyd. That's what Trump wants. Next one. Don't get angry. Get justice. Next one. All of a sudden, Trump can't see good people on both sides.
Yeah, that one was perfect. She did all those in the span of an hour? Like in the same hour?
They were like manic Beth Instagram posts.
But they were sometime in like the AM, weren't they? Like really late.
They were, they were. Let me read the timestamps. Sorry, I was,
No worries. Because the key, because they almost came out of nowhere because she hadn't been tweeting she rarely tweets. I mean, she's too busy doing absolutely nothing. But
June 1st, they were at 7:22 p.m. So they were late. So they were evening.
Way later in the show, but not in the morning like she was up all night on Pop Rocks and Coke. And
there's more though.
That
it was about Cuomo. A lot about Cuomo, and then she's retweeting Stephen King. I mean,
so Robin was going nuts tweeting, and to my knowledge, I think on the first, let me just make sure of this because I got a bunch of clips. Oh yes, Bobo calls in. He's the only reason. If not for Bobo, and it was not orchestrated, because usually Bobo is one of those tools that comes in and, hey, Howard, what about? And it's all set up. But there's no way he was set up to talk about it for Howard to ignore. There's just no way.
No.
And so Human Impersonator Incorporated goes on to talk about Marfan Mike, and it's all this whack pack stuff, guys. That's what he goes on with on the fucking June 1st, first time back. Don't you remember how good the show used to be? Like, whenever some event happened over the weekend, you couldn't wait for them to get back on Monday.
I couldn't wait.
Anytime.
Every even like if it was something dumb that happened at the MTV Awards or the Grammys.
Trivial.
I mean, trivial shit, but even big life shit like 9/11 or anything. I mean, pick it. I would be. I could not wait. I had my alarm set and would get ready to school with the radio in my bathroom, and then couldn't wait to get in my car, like run to my car.
Right. Or even if something is so non-important, like so unimportant, like they went to California the weekend and they were going to talk about what they did when they came back. It was cool. Like it was actually interesting sometimes. Sometimes it wasn't.
God, when they used to go on vacation and then come back, I was ecstatic. I used to be so excited.
Yeah. And now this is going on and you don't talk about it. Now, before we go into all the clips, what do you figure went down? Do you figure he was just scared shitless of saying the wrong thing that he knows he would? Or do you think he was given an edict?
I think that, well, I have a
do you
couple
think Marcy,
of...
Do you think the shusher said no?
I think a little bit of a conspiracy theory here. So CNN this week just did a list of blackface movie stars and singers and people in popular culture that have done blackface. And Howard is obviously missing from this list, which is weird to me and messed up on so many levels. But I think that he was given an awareness that this was going to be coming and he is not talking about this because he will be one of those people on that list, and that will bring awareness to something he's trying to bury so desperately. But guess what? Kaylee Anthony killed her kid and the body was found. Your corpses are going to be found. It's going to happen. It's behind a log, but guess what? Those things are going to come to popular culture light again. They happened the blackface maybe many years ago, but way worse than so many other people.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's or Jimmy Fallon was the latest one, and that was an SNL sketch. And so that would have been 2000. Now, Howard's last he was really more about that in the Channel 9 shows. And I made a compilation. I'll put it on my channel. I don't usually put video on, but I think I should for this one. He was more about audio stuff, like he did the DMX song, My N-Words,
Yep.
And I've got that on there as well. But even more recently in the serious years, he had that guy N-word, if you spell it like Liberace, but use the N-word instead. There was a guy and he would have people use that word, calling in using that word as a proxy for using it, and had no problems with it.
They had that one guy who would just purposely taunt Robin and call her the N-word. Remember?
Not hate man. Hate man?
Yes. He would say, I still love you, my smelly little, or
whatever.
Yeah,
fill in the blanks, guys. And so the whole idea, not to mention, forget all this. When the George Floyd thing, you have to think back of when the Rodney King thing happened. And I'm going to play a little of the audio of that now before we go any further. After I play this initial clip, finish playing the Marfan Mike bullshit.
So before you play,
hold on. Go ahead.
Before you play this, I really do think that he was given some sort of edict, or somebody got a hold of him and said, this is what's coming down the pike. You better not say a goddamn thing about George Floyd, because there's a blackface list coming out on CNN this week.
Right. So if you're smart, you won't do this. Not a directive, but more of this is if you've got any brains in that fucking pea head of yours, don't do this. So this is him going on about Marfan Mike and this whole thing of where are all these wackpackers? Where do they go to? It's awful.
Oh, maybe off the air I did that. I was I don't know. You dying, I don't know if it merits airtime.
Fuck. So right before we go into the next thing, I want to play that Rodney King, the 20 seconds of it. This is 90, before the verdict, I believe. But
how nice. You dying doesn't
merit a mention on the show.
You just gave free content for years.
Yeah, so.
Involved in a high-speed chase, that this guy was breaking the law? I am very concerned about high-speed chase. Why are people in a high-speed chase? No one is asking this guy that question. All of a sudden, that's moot.
He's now brain damaged from the beating he took, Howard. He can't answer the question.
And now he will never drive, which I'm glad. I don't want a guy in a high-speed chase. Those cops did everyone in Los Angeles a favor.
You know what? Every once in a while, you lose your mind.
Well, good.
Have to bring...
So... This one went way longer. I could play more, guys, but I'm really not going to. But basically, he was pro cops, and it's in the private parts book as well.
Keep going.
You want to play more?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Hold on. Let me just get back into that.
Concerned that the guy was involved in a high-speed chase?
To bring you back to your senses.
No way.
Because you believe in the Constitution, do you not?
I absolutely
do. You think that is the greatest document this country has?
If I was a police officer and I was involved in a high-speed chase, I'd want 21 of my friends around to make sure when I pulled this guy over, he didn't blow me away with a gun.
Answer the question.
What is the question?
Do you...
Basically, and his whole thing was they found out after the fact that he was he was speeding and he was drunk, and of course, these are all awful things. But George Floyd, for example, and if anybody gets offended by me talking about this, then go fuck yourselves. This is the real reality. It's not political when you're talking about human life, when a human life is lost. Okay, and so. Rodney King, in this particular situation, he was doing something illegal. Did he deserve to get beaten like he did? Because he was drunk?
No.
Because he was breaking the law?
That's the point of... That's why Wiggy's avoiding this, because he said this really damning thing. about Rodney King. And George Floyd's rap sheet is way longer than Rodney King's, by the way. So if Howard's saying this about Rodney King, how is he going to defend, or he has to avoid the subject altogether? Because if that's your stance on Rodney King, then what the hell are you going to say about George Floyd? Which, by the way,
we find out later what he does.
Nothing. And even then, Howard, you shouldn't say a goddamn thing about Rodney King, because you wouldn't know what a high-speed chase is. You haven't been behind the wheel at that point for 10 plus years.
That did not escape me, but I'll continue a little more of this.
You believe in the Constitution?
No.
Oh, Howard. Then I don't want to hear you screaming every time the FCC ignores it.
Take the Constitution, roll it up, and hit the guy with it. Give it to the cops.
He'd be better off.
There you go.
But anyway.
Roll that piece of paper up in a tight little, like a newspaper, and bang him over the head. The people are running around.
King is still in the hospital.
Rodney
Howard.
King should pull over to the side of the road.
Now, here's the thing, guys. He should be getting all kinds of blowback for this. And when he did his book tour, some people brought it up in the interviews, like the Rodney King comments. He never actually apologizes for anything that he says. He goes, "I don't even know that I believed it then. I don't even know."
Whoopee.
Yeah, so should I play a little more of that or what?
This is so important, Fillmore. And not only that, who else is playing this? I mean,
I guess so.
Are you kidding me right now? This limousine liberal is sitting here telling us how to live and saying shit about Marfa and Mike and nothing about George Floyd because of this exact reason. So let's let it fly.
Okay, we'll play a little more.
It's a moot point at this juncture.
That's what I'm complaining about. What? I don't want that to be a moot point.
Howard, let's just say that this man had, you were supposing for the police yesterday. Let me suppose for you.
If my kid had been in front of his car.
Excuse me.
If my kid had been in front of his car in the high-speed chase and he had hit a child, you would have seen the whole thing been different.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
If his kid was in front of the car and had an organ that needed to be donated, Howard would have let it die.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we could continue playing it because it's a long clip. This is actually a 4-minute clip, but that's the meat of it. Yeah. And if you want more, go into the fucking Private Parts book where he talks about they should have beat him more. He was pro cops for ages and ages. Now, I mean, God only knows.
He doesn't have a real stance on anything unless it's to be invited to a party at the Hamptons. So, hey, whatever Hollywood piece of shit is having a party, I'm going to agree with whatever they think for the moment.
Yeah, and the fact is, he was more about shocking back in the day than anything else. So it really was, anything came out of his mouth, a lot of it wasn't necessarily what he believed, I'm sure. But at the time, especially, I remember thinking, okay, that was incredibly, like, there were riots over the fucking Rodney King verdict. There were riots, guys.
Oh my
Same
gosh.
as what's happening now.
If you want to see the riots, go to Netflix and watch the LA riots documentary. It's incredible.
Yeah, I was 17 at the time, and at that, unfortunately, no internet. You could only get stuff piecemeal from the news, like really, like hoping for the right channel. Or we couldn't even get C-SPAN where I grew up, and so you wouldn't see. You couldn't see a lot of stuff live as it was happening. You couldn't see, elected officials talking about stuff in the moment. You had to always get the next fucking paper the next day, or hopefully go to the library and someone didn't rip that article out, before you got a chance to go to it. Yeah. So, you know what I mean?
But this guy is number one in radio, and he's a voice, a very important voice at this time.
Sure.
So he doesn't have
in many markets
he does now. I mean, not even by a long shot. But back then, yes, he did. And he's saying these things. That's when our point of doing this too is the fact these clips that you're playing, that clip you just played, that matters. That doesn't go away. And if you don't think that people took that opinion in some form and became cops or became whatever they are going to be in life, and he's an influence on them, I mean, that's the point of calling him to the stage. You shouldn't be exempt from this.
Right. It's not about being woke. It's about more along the lines of, like I said, I don't agree with Jimmy Fallon having to make an apology about something that was, clearly misguided.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Don't do it again. And you could even say something like it was a mistake. It shouldn't have been done, and move on. Most people will move on.
Like, for example, the editor of Bon Appetit magazine wore brown face in 2003, and he resigned and gave this like huge apology and left. I mean, you don't have to do that. You can realize in 2003, when you were in college 20 years ago, you made a mistake. You don't have to give up your whole career that you built this beautiful magazine for because you did something dumb. Haven't we all done something stupid?
Haven't we all? Exactly. So the next one, so all on the June 1st, all he's talking about is fucking wackpackers that are dead or no longer there to provide him with filler because he's now in his fucking basement. And clip number 2, you want to read number 2?
Oh, Jesus. Fred takes a note and a powder.
So Fred fucks up on, they're just not on the ball, so.
Hey, Marfan, you're all right.
Hey, how are you? I'm wondering.
Thank God we didn't lose you. I get so upset when we lose a wackpacker, either through health issues and dying.
I get so upset.
He just said he's lucky if he gets airtime if he dies, and I mention it.
Right. There was no faster turnaround. Like, that was faster than any fucking 180 in The French Connection from Popeye Doyle.
It really was Buffy the Vampire snapping a vampire's neck right in the beginning of the show.
Or like with Beetlejuice, who's now like locked up in his mom's house. Can't even get a hold of him. Right, Beat?
Well, right.
Well, hold on. Right, Beat?
You're not Beat.
You're not Beat. You're Muff on Mike. Hey, Beat. I was just talking to me.
Fred's completely asleep.
I absolutely love this.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny because Beat's mom is putting down the gauntlet. She's saying, you're not going to be a part of this bullshit anymore or used.
No.
Are you getting paid for this? No? Okay, you're not doing it.
Fuck him, yeah.
We can't get a hold of Beat anymore. Fred, are you awake? We were just...
Fred, from his stupor, just wakes up and hits the first sound clip he has. Just to let him know, just to let him know, hey, I'm not sleeping. This is, just imagine Bowie doing the sleeping, in the chair that's DePace isolated, but just put Fred's face in it.
Picture when you smoke a joint before school and then you go to your first period and you're asleep and the bell rings. You're like, fuck, what happened?
Shut up about transportation. Well,
yeah. Okay. All right. Forget it. We'll edit that out of post.
They did that.
Fred is still on vacation.
I'll edit it out of post. They don't even have the fucking effort to do. They don't even expend that much effort. They just left it in.
I hope Scott the engineer is listening to this and just drinking a cocktail with his new girlfriend and saying, fuck you.
Yeah, here's to you, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, 2 seconds ago, wasn't I just talking to Beetlejuice? What happened, Fred?
That you were.
No, but I mean, what happened within the 3 seconds?
You were talking to Marfan. I want to look at some notes that I was making for myself, and I distracted myself by making those notes.
He was updating the King Norris AOL website.
Oh my God. What a horrible... I mean, these people must have been such losers in school because everyone knows how to make an excuse for, wait, what are you... I'm calling on you. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm making notes that what? No, you say, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
My dog ate the homework.
You were making notes
to myself.
What were those notes?
What are the notes you were making?
It had something to do with some of the stuff that was in the rundown today.
I see. Well, go back to your notes. I won't talk to you.
Sorry.
And if they were still in studio, you'd never hear even that much of Fred anymore. He would just be some angle to throw gay shit at. He'd be saying, "Well, Fred was blowing me, 5 minutes ago," but that's besides the point. Some kind of aside that involves gay, like Fred the bottom. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Fred, because bottoms are highly prized, according to Wiggy. Remember that? Okay, so number 3, please.
This is a long one, so I'm scared.
Okay.
Who in the holy name of Saint fucking Joseph is actually paying for this track? Who in the holy name of Saint fucking Joseph is actually paying for this track?
A couple of months ago, we were told by your dad, I think, that you were close to death.
What?
I had. Yeah. He said.
Yeah,
let me pee for Robin, who seems to be having some difficulty. He said, just in case he didn't follow it.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, he said.
So this is the entertainment you're paying for subscribing every month, guys.
Do you think Fred needs to run down his notes for this?
He's literally got an Atari joystick with the one button going bunk, bunk, bunk. That's it.
That's like Mark and Mindy had Nanu Nanu.
I see.
Yeah.
That's a
wow,
timely
what
reference.
a relevant. Jinx, buy me a Coke.
That was when
Mork
Jimmy
and
J.J. Walker.
Mindy.
That was when Jimmy J.J. Walker used to say "Dynamite."
Anecdote. I went. The Buffalo has the world's largest disco, and that guy was at the world's largest disco, along with some housewives, and I think Blair from
the Facts of Life.
Yeah, Facts of Life.
Yeah.
Not sorry, Different
Yeah.
Strokes. Facts of Life.
Okay.
And that guy. He's old.
Oh Jesus, yeah, and he's another Comedy Store regular. Back in the day, got lucky with the sitcom.
So there's no. Just listen to these references.
It was just like soap. Rhoda. Let's go. Maud. All these timely references to bring in the 14-year-olds. It was just like
family.
It was like Mayberry. Okay.
I'm hearing a hum. Hold on. You guys hear that?
Oh my God. What? I mean, this guy is getting paid millions of dollars.
All right. Fuck it all. Ignore it.
We like to play these clips every now and then, guys, just to remind you that some of you are paying for this.
You're paying for a vibrator under a mattress.
Okay, 1 sec. 50. Hold on. 50. 22. Okay, I got to take another break. I'm really sorry. I got the bladder like a 5-year-old today. I don't know why. Because I only woke up about a couple hours ago. Hold on.
Do you need to make a toilet paper teepee around your? Do you need to make a toilet paper turban?
Now we're ready for clip number 4. Zvi lamenting the loss of show filler, a.k.a. unpaid wackpackers.
What was I saying? Oh, surely. So, anyway. So he's saying, I hate when a wackpacker dies or gets sick. And, it's so hard to find these guys.
No, he's not upset if they're dead or sick. He just has a hard time finding.
They have families.
Yeah.
They're
actually human beings.
Yeah, unlike your family who just realizes to stay the fuck away from you, these people actually have families that love them.
Yeah, believe it or not. Oh, except maybe Eric. High pitch Eric might be the one exception.
Well, he's making he's making 6 figures on Cameo. He's fine.
It's just disgusting. He can't die. He can't die in of toxoplasmosis fast enough for me. I'm sorry. I hate that cockroach.
Like radio. So few wackpackers from the original group are alive anymore.
So number 5, if you please, Sam.
Hank now spinning in his mini grave.
I mean, they're all gone.
Hank the Angry Dwarf?
It's over,
Hank was
Johnny.
like Hank was a blow to my system so heavy. I mean, it was ridiculous.
What?
Hank was a blow to my system.
What system?
His air system, I suppose.
Is it the human system?
I guess so. Number 6, please.
Reverse roll call, a.k.a. even in death, Wiggy can kill time with wackpackers.
Crackhead Bob is gone. Joey Boots is gone. Nicole Bass is gone.
It's like a roll call, Lisa G. It's the reverse roll call.
It's reverse roll call. So even though they're dead, there's no amount of time he's not afraid to kill time with dead wackpackers discussion.
Yeah, I'm trying to. The guy
Kenneth
who
Keith.
used to Kenneth Keith. Yes, the
He's
guy who
gone.
kept saying he could smoke through his eyes, blow smoke.
And wasn't he the one that got put away for like sexual, like was it sexual assaulting of a minor?
I know
like that?
double A was.
Double A had was I think he got off, but it was something like he had to do. It was the possession of child pornography or something like that.
Yes.
Okay, but Kenneth Keith Kalmbach actually he was in lockup when he died, I believe. Yeah,
you're right.
Smoke through his eyes.
Yeah. Evil Dave is gone. They're all gone.
Wow.
Original Bigfoot is gone.
Robin's the only one left.
Remember the original Bigfoot with the guy?
Oh, yeah.
The 7'3" guy. Rapping Granny, is she still around or is she dead?
No, I think she's gone.
She's gone. Rapping Granny.
Wow.
Yeah, like this is what people want to hear.
Do you want to sit them down and talk about what they want to do with their career for the rest of their life for overwhelming love? You want to feel loving?
Clip number 7, Mantown, the place where all weapons-grade faggotry goes down along with Ralph.
I probably dig it because I don't like doing anything. Didn't think it was possible for me to get more reclusive. Before COVID-19, like just going to work or going to a restaurant was painful for me. No, all bullshit aside, it's just painful. I can't sit with other people.
Oh my God.
I can't sit with other people.
This is
I think it's
why
the
I'm
opposite. I think it's the
saying-
other way around.
This is why I'm saying, could you imagine the process of him going out to dinner with Jerry Seinfeld, what that must have entailed? Because he's paying to even go out to dinner with, let's say, his beard.
Well, do you remember that clip? Raven asked for it. The clip where Robin talks about her book, and then one of the ex-limo drivers calls in and said the limo service drivers used to used to fake they were busy so that they wouldn't have to pick her up because she was such a cunt. Do you imagine that the restaurant staff are like, "Oh God, this fucking Pelican's got to come again. What are we gonna who's gonna serve him today?"
Yeah, I think because he's such.
They're like spinning steak knives, and whoever it lands on is going to go serve
Honestly,
them.
I think he might be better than Beth. I think Beth's a total cunt, but I don't think.
You mean customer service wise?
Yeah, customer service wise, I think she's everyone else's shit on my shoe, in her wine-induced, opioid-induced, coke-induced spin, and I also think that Howard is probably a little rough, but he barely eats. And I think because of this narcissism and insecurity, maybe he doesn't actually make that much of a fuss because he's afraid.
Well, yeah, it's either or he'll just bitch about it on the air, about how bad this place was, or whatever. Or I don't even think he would do that anymore because.
What kind of cheap fuck buys a bag for $1,000 or $500 who's making millions and then goes on the air and bitches about some waiter or waitress spilling wine on Beth's bag? I mean, that's like pocket change. That's like buying a sticker at a grocery store when you dump the change in.
Yeah, it's literally, yeah. And I'm sure the waiter was like Beth in the soap opera. Have you ever had the urge to spill something? It's hard to control. We have to go through that when we do that. The best of Beth. clips, the wink. I could watch that on a loop probably for 20 days. It's the worst acting ever. If you don't know what we're talking about, I think it's I know it's All My Children. I think it's a defunct soap opera now. And she had one clip, and you never saw her again, and she sticks out like the biggest sore thumb you've ever seen, guys. I'm not even joking a little bit.
No, I just winked at Fillmore awkwardly for the last, 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
And it might have been better.
Maybe.
It's gotten much worse. I don't want to walk outside, and I don't want to leave my room. Like, I couldn't believe I had to come down to my basement and do the radio show. It felt like too much socializing.
What room do you sit in most? I mean, you come out of your bedroom, right?
I go out of the bedroom into my office. Mantown. Okay. We call it Mantown.
Mantown.
Girl Town. They are listening. You gotta be kidding me. We call Beth's thing Girl Town.
Yeah, absolutely.
Her wing. So they must know, because why would he just come up out of nowhere with Mantown? He's not smart or creative.
No, the implication is no vagina allowed. So Ralph's got full green card status there. He can get in.
My area of the house is Mantown. No girls allowed.
And you just stay in there all day, except to go to the kitchen.
All day, except to get the Roomba to mop up.
Mop up what?
And then I go down to the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. What almond fragments? Jesus.
I mean, is a pistachio too much for you?
Once in a while. But I just stay in my room, I paint, and I go on my computer, and I'm so fucking happy. The thought of having to do the show today was making me ill. I have a headache right now because I have to be down here.
Like, honestly, in the middle of what's going on, and that's what you're deciding, people, I don't know. Like, back in the day, I never liked the fucking kvetching. I always thought it was just time filler. I was like, can you just fuck off and get on with it? Bring in the guest, talk to whoever else, talk to Artie, bring up somebody.
The bitching to me was always okay. The bitching for me, because the show ran so fast, was always a segue into the next thing. So it kind of flowed. I was like, okay, he's going to bitch about this for a couple of seconds or a few minutes, and then we're going to get to the next interesting thing that's going to happen. So I always looked at it as a moniker of the next thing's happening soon. So I didn't really mind it as much, but now it's all there is. And what is there to bitch about? Meanwhile, just like you said, the whole George Floyd thing happened. He's not talking about it. He's not mentioning it. And he's bitching about going to his basement.
Yeah. And this is the complaint you think is so fucking wonderful that people cannot just do without. Truckers are pulling off to the side of the road laughing at this.
But I mean, maybe it is a big deal, because you saw him how he walked down that Ellen stage. He literally needed a cane or a walker or a wheelchair or something.
Yeah. Or lift. Yeah, absolutely. The next one is called The Veal Diaries.
I have my routine, and the days go so fast because I just sit in my room and entertain myself, like when I was a little boy.
Time means nothing.
Oh.
Yeah. There's no such thing as time.
Time means...
If I didn't have to shower and eat, I'd just sit in that room.
Like, it just boggles the mind. Clip number 9, the world's oldest teenager goes back to high school again.
Thank goodness Beth is there.
Yeah, she's great. She likes it.
Great. You just said she's great. You just said she's not allowed in Mantown. No girls allowed. It's a bullshit clubhouse for no one but you.
I think literally her function is, while he's there, is to just get him strawberries or whatever the fuck King Baby wants, and then fuck off. Like, service him quietly and get lost.
Do you think, like, when she cut the strawberries, she was like, shit, I don't know what to do?
I think she was rubbing them against her fucking asshole, which he's never seen, by the way, and then making sure, because wasn't he going on a thing about using baking soda? She doesn't have one. She doesn't duty anyway. What does she need an asshole for?
But if you were totally alone, you might become Richard. You wouldn't bathe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Why would I bathe?
Ladies, your dreamboat has docked. Imagine this fucking pelican crypt keeper not bathing. He
With
literally
that
would
wig.
smell with that wig and the sweat and like humidity and whatever the fuck building up under that goddamn carpet. Jesus H.
With
Christ.
all the heavy leather and awful distressed jeans.
Yeah. Tony, we want the DuPont Stainmaster look.
Except to clean the folds under my fat.
Yeah, folds
actually-
under your fat. I've seen people
Fucking bag of bones.
from liberating Dachau video footage in striped pajamas looking, a little bit more
Healthier.
fit than him.
Jesus Christ. They were at least doing labor. He hasn't lifted a finger in his entire life. Anyway, number 10.
Oh.
Crazy Alice tells the show to go fuck themselves.
Angry Alice, by the way, I'm not calling her whack pack because she won't talk to us anymore unless we pay her.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow. Didn't know that was the reason.
What? Yeah, go ahead.
What a motherfucker. What a motherfucker.
I found this clip amazing, and I'm sorry to cut it short, guys, but I had to really wanted to because it's really an out-and-out admission that, number one, they don't pay wackpackers. Any money they got was from a sponsor, if they got money. And most of the times it was like, here, take whatever you get in the glom box, or take these fucking cupcakes or whatever.
Have some Snapple.
Have a Poland Spring bottle, and don't let that door hit you on the way out, on your ass on the way out. And so I find it amazing that some of these whackpackers are saying, like, no, fuck you. Like Sean, I don't even know if Beetlejuice's manager is still alive, but the idea that they won't do it anymore surely has to be all about money. Like, basically, it's not just Alice. They're all saying, look, you're not doing anything for us anymore, so what the fuck is the point?
Fred
They're
the
not being
Elephant
brought out
Boy
on
did the
comedy
same
shows.
thing.
Yeah. It's not like Levy's taking Beetlejuice on the road anymore because he's persona non grata, and Shuley can't take him.
I'm so glad Alice is in sync with all these people, like saying,
Sure.
no, you're not taking advantage of me anymore. You guys
No,
did
fuck
enough to make me look like a crazy, angry black woman. Sorry, go find someone else.
Right. And the only reason I'm playing any of this, guys, because I don't focus on whackpackers at all. That's not the mandate of this particular show, is the fact that he's just kind of bitching the fact that he can't crutch on them
He
anymore.
can't get it for free, though. That's the craziest part. He is a
He's admitted it.
multimillionaire 10 times over, and
Right.
he can't get them for free. Just like he feels good about himself for getting his parents hot dogs for their anniversary, you piece of shit.
They had to bring their own condiments.
Who wasn't on?
Yeah, she wants money to be talked to. Oh, she's out. Who told me that? Gary, did you tell me that? Want to make sure
I did not. That's news to me.
Anybody want to come on and tell us?
It's good for the producer not to know such things.
Probably because it was told to Marcy, and we all know how that goes.
Yeah.
Anybody know
me that?
anything about this?
I think Shuley.
Hey, Howard.
knows. Hey,
Yeah.
Shuley.
Yeah, the last few times I've given her a call and reached out. We were out in L.A., do those serious shows. I reached out to her. We went out there, possibly see her. And, yeah, everything pretty much has a price tag attached to it now, which sucks because she's phenomenal. But what are you going to do?
Why don't you fucking throw her a couple bucks, you cheap shit? I mean, that's such an indictment. I would never even allow that to be on my show. I would never admit that I'm not paying someone, so that's why they're not on. I'd say we don't want to go that way.
Especially if they're a fan favorite or such an integral part of most of the history of your show that made you successful.
And we've got clip number 12 of June 1st, my mistake. Sam, would you like to try that one?
Oh, Jesus. Clip number 12. Another black guy killed by cops, but let's talk about Will the Farter.
Yeah, Bobo. Listen, I'm going to take a little break. I got to go pee. Then I got a whole bunch of things I want to go over with Robin. It's just one of those shows, where we hang and
we groove.
Do what we do.
Do what we do. Pish.
Could you imagine like an alien invasion happening?
They're playing this back.
Because that's essentially what this is.
Yeah, it does seem a little Twilight Zone-ish when we're listening to it back again.
Yucko the Clown considers himself too successful for our show now.
Well, he is. Yeah. The last time we talked to him,
That's right.
he sounded like he was making money.
Oh, my God. He's a mogul.
He hung up the clown suit in the closet.
Now, as far as I know, Yucko is doing voice work and actually like making a living at it, quite a good living comparatively, compared to going on your fucking show for free.
Yeah, let's not pay him and shit on him. Good on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Bobo, you okay? Can I go or like?
Yeah.
You
No,
got
I
something
just
to
want to
say?
everybody has gone back crazy now with all this destruction and everything going on with George Floyd that passed away, and it's just terrible.
Passed away? He was murdered,
Bobo. Yeah, I was murdered. But the riots have to stop there. They really do. And the latest with that FedEx driver where they ambushed that guy, I would have done the same thing because I drove 18-wheelers. And
Is Will the farter a whack pack?
He completely sidesteps it. He did not address it in the slightest. Yeah.
How smart of you to bring up that Rodney King clip and then let's juxtapose it with this.
Yeah.
I mean, that should just be the beginning of the show, honestly, because that's how insane. Do you think we're not going to remember? And how stupid. No wonder why Robin went into a blind Twitter rage. No wonder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So this is the next clip is called Tear Gas, Riot Police, and the Hot Mayor of Atlanta.
You know what? Could you imagine if Bobo was like, the riots and George Floyd, we're going to weigh, how much does high-pitch Eric shit weigh? Anyone have a metric for that? Do we know? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone?
This is the old controversy whack pack two-step that he likes to do now these days because he doesn't want to be held to the fire. Clip number 13.
He doesn't even want to comment.
No, that's the thing. That's the scary part. And because he's just clearly afraid. He doesn't want people drudging up that shit from the river.
I don't think it's afraid. It's a combination of afraid and uninformed and stupid.
Yeah. And also, he just doesn't really care. Like, wow, it's just another black guy dead. Who gives a shit? That to him, I'm saying that's his take.
Oh my God, could you imagine? I wish every day those riots came to fucking 17 Squabble Lane. Just burn it down. Throw some fucking bricks in those gaudy looking, awful living room with Beth's pink shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Just burn it down. You
Yeah,
guys should go there. Anyone rioting? Just
I might have to make a
go.
Photoshop. Here we go.
You know what's important to him? He's telling me how Gary was telling me he was watching all the the racial strife and stuff, and Gary's right. I mean, he was like, "Gee, the mayor of Atlanta is really hot," and
that's what he got out of all of watching all of the coverage.
And then I was like, not watching the coverage, but I was like, let me check her out, and I was like, Gary's right, she's hot.
Like,
can you be? My God! First of all,
Right.
the mayor of Atlanta and everyone who spoke when this turmoil started happening in Atlanta was so poignant, and really, they're kind of a nuanced city in so many ways. They really do care about their community, and their leaders care about their community, and they have a lot of businesses and mostly minorities who run these businesses, and they are changing the way they police people. They have wellness centers versus incarcerating drug addicts and stuff like that. And she made such a great speech, and so did Killer Mike, and I cannot even believe that this is what he's saying from all of that.
Yeah, that's
and
his
Robin,
takeaway.
what you say? That's what you think? But then you
Yeah.
go on Twitter in blind rage. Way to go, Robin.
Yeah. Way to pick your spot.
I'm doing the Stuttering John thing.
Would you like to read number 14, Sam?
Alas, poor Conlon Road Photography. I knew it. Horatio, a website full of photoshopped disasters.
I used to have, before COVID-19, I used to have the best radio studio ever built in America or in the world. Now I have a sign in my basement and we get excited. And I'm working on a card table. It's really awesome.
What happened?
Yay!
Yeah, I walk down here. I go, no wonder I don't want to be in this room. What happened? In fact, this room used to be my photo studio when I was into photography.
Okay, so basically, it's such a vacuum of unfunny. Like now, when you hear that the dead air between them, I remember saying lots of times actually on various podcast episodes that 2010 was such a hard year, not just because Artie left, but because there was so much nothingness on the channel anymore. Like they tried their best to go through the motions, but it was clear there was a black fucking hole missing of wealth of comedy and just insight and heart, and you couldn't you just couldn't fill it, and he couldn't do it. You could hear him fumbling for like 3 seconds at a clip or 5 seconds going, yeah, so yeah, and that was regular.
He needs to play off of someone.
That's
a
right.
Comedian.
So so whoever was the real idiot is of course him for allowing Marcy Turk to convince him that he is the show, that he, like the back office people don't contribute anything, because now without any of that stuff, this is what you're hearing, guys. Him, 2 fucking ARP members going on about nothing.
I mean, do you honestly, can you even believe after seeing that summit video that was leaked? This is you're hammering HR 101 to people who have been doing this radio show with you, TV and radio, for 30 something years. Do you think that they need some misspelled fucking PowerPoint to help you do your job?
Right.
It's insanity.
Right, in lieu of actual direction, in lieu of someone who has a fucking handle on what they're supposed to do and what they have, the direction they want to go in.
And the directives were, Richard, cry into your cock and write Brad Pitt a letter.
High pitch Mike, because you're gay, go after like Ricky Martin or whoever the fuck. Go after transgenders. Get Michael Jackson. Debase. Go after. So you said you don't want to do the summit thing, but at one point we may have to do our own little walkthrough because I still think there are people that don't know it exists. I think there are people that still don't know about it.
Well, thank God for Benjamin and other people who saved it. But yeah, we should.
Because it's such a wealth of awfulness. Anyway, so he's talking about the photography thing, which was 2012, by the way, everybody. He let that website fade away into nothingness. I think it was right about when he got into AGT, because he doesn't have time to take pictures anymore.
He had to take pictures of Beth in a snowstorm bikini, fucking doing snow angels high as a kite.
I have to make a gif of that. I know there exist ones already, but that's one of the best.
And it's depressing because everything in here I haven't used in 5 years. So it's a room full of junk.
It looks like it's haunted.
Yeah, like I have one of those big. I got to show you this thing. Like I got one of those big fucking like. How could you see this?
What?
I've got all this photo equipment right behind me.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Oh my God, is it?
There.
And he dabbled. The thing was, guys, he dabbled in it and ended up doing a shortcut anyway, like using Photoshop for any shit photo he was taking. He didn't have the eye, and he didn't know what he was doing. Even though he had a tutor, a photography tutor, and a Photoshop tutor, he fucked up. Even his Photoshopping was awful. He would paint. He painted a dog's paw onto what he had erased because he couldn't undo what he had done. Go ahead.
Listen, Fillmore, if he would have had his grilling tutor with his chest, if he would have had his grilling tutor with his chest tutor, maybe he would have succeeded.
Do you think if they ever had that Howard Stern convention, like a Comic-Con thing for Howard, there would be a day of all tutors, and you could get a signature, you could get an autograph with his grilling tutor.
Yeah. It would be like a TutorCon.
TutorCon. $20 for his karate instructor.
It would be like there'd be Ralph and Tony Coburn, and then there'd be, let's think of who else.
The shitloads of people.
Fucking, what's his face? Pat Menachia.
Pat Menachia. Marco Battaglia.
And fucking,
$5.
and how to fine dine with Fertinota.
I might have to take that Jackie photo at the Comic-Con where he's by himself and just Photoshop all these other people in there instead.
And just have him looking with that sad face at the end of the table.
It'll look just like everybody check out. I'm going to plug it, lonelyvirgil.com or .net. The WWE guy who just kept putting his stuff in whatever subway station and trying to sell pictures of himself. The best thing ever. No one's there. Okay, so number 15, Robin calls out Wiggy the dilettante.
It's like
well, you take up those hobbies, Howard, and then you drop them.
I've got like $10 million worth of equipment here that's all obsolete because I use my iPhone now.
Go ahead.
How's your horse, Robin?
Yeah, Blaze. He's at the glue factory along with some of the stuffed cats.
Are you busy shoveling stalls and dealing out hay? Fuck you. Keep going.
The next one is called Incredible Projection onto Ryan Seacrest, who he tried to talk about how he wondered if he could fuck his own asshole by doing yoga not too long ago, and now he's feeling sympathy for him.
Yeah. He's turning into. He always wanted to be Dick Clark, and now he's going to be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
What? Wait a minute.
The whole idea was I should explain a little, guys. Ryan Seacrest was he called in sick or something for exhaustion recently.
No,
Was that the situation?
He was actually exhausted, and he looked like he had a stroke on live TV when he was doing American Idol Live, I believe. And he had a part of his eye was closed, and he looked very stroke-ish, like part of his face was not moving the right way. So people were concerned. And then he took a day off for exhaustion.
Yeah. So anyway, he's going on about it. It's a little bit of a long clip, but we'll see how
Remember, Nick? We'd slow down the countdown every year and miss the change to midnight.
I was watching that time. Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest, Toxic Avenger.
Go ahead.
Do you know when he does this, like, it reminds me of, like, if you ever play The Sims and they have their own language and they're like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people know what that is if they have kids or if they've done it themselves. The Sims have their own language, and it sounds like Schnala, como está,
It sounded to be a little like Frankensvy. right after he throws the kid in the water because he hates children.
I go, man, he really wants to be Dick Clark. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. We're only here in Times Square.
What?
I know what was going on, but I was reading in the paper. Then he missed a couple of Kelly Ripa shows.
Morning shows, yeah.
And what have I said about this guy for years?
Works too much.
He works too much. The guy can't say no to any work. And seriously, I like the guy. I don't have anything against him. I mean, how can you?
He doesn't have anything against him. Not even 2-3 weeks ago, he was talking shit about him nonstop for about 15 minutes.
You like the guy? I have never heard him say one nice thing about Ryan Seacrest ever.
Never.
I mean,
he bitches.
Simon Cowell is above him, but not by far.
No, and the fact is he's bitching. Like, remember that projection we played where he goes, I have 19 jobs and I don't make more money than Howard, which actually I'm sure he does make way more money than Howard based on what his share is of all these things. Because Ryan Seacrest is, he's got his finger.
He's a producer.
He's got his finger in a bunch of pies and is still working steadily, and he's still like got fucking decades ahead of him. And that's Wiggy just being jealous that he doesn't have offers. He doesn't have all these things. You know, AGT went away.
Produces the Kardashians. Howard Stern produced Son of a Beach. I'll just leave it there.
Right, exactly. And I'm sure Ryan put up a good chunk of the money as well. So, whatever, created by credit.
I don't have anything against Ryan Seacrest. I mean, the guy just, he reads very well. He's a handsome guy. If anything,
why are we always telling men that they're handsome if we're not a total flaming closeted homo? I mean, seriously. Wow.
Have her hands off that American Idol thing. He'll be coaching a guy as to how you say this. American Idol.
WNBC.
That's right.
No one's asking you to coach shit, Howard. That's the real bitch of it. You're really upset over the fact that he's got something going on. And again, a lot of this as we go into next day, he can give you a list of tutors to hire if you need any help. He's got a phone book.
He would break a finger doing jazz hands. There's no way he can be coaching.
Yeah. Well, it was. We got to shout out to Dennis DeMarco on our site, who we adore.
I love him.
He sent us. He sent us a clip that goes back to 1986 that we all listened to. Me, Raven, Sam, and we were just dying of Wiggy trying to be funny and flopping the whole fucking 90 minutes worth. And it was maybe if we ever get a chance, we may do a run through. A walkthrough, but it's so excruciatingly bad. It reminds me of every time he complains and bitches about somebody getting a gig and thinking about him on his own, trying to just being talented and just failing miserably. So hopefully we get a chance to do that one, but we got to ask Dennis if it's all right first.
I love Dennis, by the way. I shout out to Dennis DeMarco.
Yeah. And so speaking of another Dennis, number 17, Admiral Beefus and Captain Dennis save the day because these two old fucking fogies talk about how they're useless without someone to wipe their asses for them.
I'm here. What do you need? Points out these two birds out on the roof, and I go, where? I don't even see it. She sees dead birds everywhere.
This is bad. This is like the Sixth Sense. I see dead birds.
Could you imagine? Oh my God. Can you picture like a seagull like coming out of the car wreck from the Sixth Sense?
And she goes, you need to get those birds off the roof. I go, climb out of the window onto the roof? And I go, I'll kill myself. I can't do that.
That's the idea, Howard.
So wait, what?
She's talking about there's what do they call it? What is it? The runoff? I don't know, like dead birds up on the trough. Where the
how is she seeing birds on a mansion roof?
As a horse, she has a larger field of visions.
What is she, a fucking coked up giraffe? What is going on?
I have X-ray vision. You could do drunk Beth looking at the dead birds.
Oh my God, Howard, are you on the air? You are? Oh, sorry. Well, I'm just on the roof. This is a robin seagull. It's a seagull.
What, honey? I'm on the air. I'm on the air.
Oh, sorry. I gotta just try you a second. Just 1 second. You need to get this.
Hold on a second, Rob.
It's a parrot. I think. Hold on. Oh. Moochoo Peaches.
I just got this image of the duct tape bird.
Oh, I don't like her. She likes you. I'm her mother. I'm her mother. How dare she? I gotta go. Fuck the dead bird. Bye.
I just got this image of in Dumb and Dumber when they sell the blind kid the dead parrot and they duct tape the head back to the body and he's going, pretty bird, pretty bird. Pretty bird. All right, play a little more.
Yeah.
You were going to be the man of the house until you saw what the job was.
I go, I can't believe you're asking me that. I go, well, I'm clearly not the man of the house.
No, he's not. Go ahead, Sam.
Can you picture this fucking sweet-hearted, skinny fuck crawling around on a roof? To rescue a bird that's probably been sunned to the fucking panel.
Yeah. Like sun-dried tomatoes up there. Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine
he's gonna really rescue.
Well, first of all, he'd have to get on a ladder. Can you picture him on a ladder?
Well, the way he's making it sound like Beth's making it seem like Romeo and Juliet. Just climb up and
I go, honestly, let's be real about it. You are the man of the house. She carries down the boxes. She does everything.
She's a linebacker. She's got the frame of a defensive end, so why wouldn't she?
Did she go out on the roof?
No, you can't go out on this roof. I said, do you have a power hose that I could hose off from? No, no, where would I get that?
Yeah.
Do you have a bird removal tutor that I can use to help me with this? Bird corpse removal tutor. Jesus Christ almighty. We might have to pause this one, guys. Hold on, 144.
I just picture like a paint scraper.
What?
I just picture like a paint scraper. He's just like armed with his paint scraper and his wig. And she's pushing him out a window.
Get those corpses.
Hopefully it's alive so I can release it with some Tupperware and make a video on the beach.
Oh God! It would still not be as good as that iguana chasing after them and chasing them off. I still gotta find that video. Jesus Christ!
The birds. I said, close the window shade.
Or which was the cat? Which cat was it that went?
Muffin.
Sorry. Muffin.
We speak your name.
Yeah, our spirit cat, our spirit animal.
I like to look out the window.
It's outside. You could call somebody for that.
Yeah, maybe like some guy could get up on a ladder, but please, what does some guy have to die so that I don't see the...
Nobody's gonna die.
How do you wait? How do you think roofs are put on?
Well, they're prefab, like Lego. You just snap it on and boom, there it is. You just have a crane.
Look, going on a ladder means you're gonna die.
You're gonna die. That's right.
How'd the roof get up there?
And this guy wanted karate lessons. This guy wanted a father figure to show him how to do things.
I don't know how it got there. I'm just no man of the house.
Yeah, next time she says, I need you to be the man of the house, you just say, no, I can't do it.
I'm good at one thing. This.
He's not good at that. Sorry. I knew that one was going to get you. Okay. That might have to go into an intro theme.
Could you imagine
What?
Could you imagine thinking that this is what you're good at?
He just spent the first minute of the show asking Fred if he was still alive. This is what you're good at.
He thinks people won't survive if you climb a ladder.
Well, we all know how Arthur Lang Sr. passed away, so it is a dangerous job.
Oh, you're right. We don't need him to have that guilt.
Wait till Otis sees us! He loved us! Oh my God! It's dented! It's dented! It's dented. My smile job. Hey!
We are gonna die. Boone, we're the only white people here.
Who love me?